Welcome to The Art of Being Unstoppable, the podcast where women from every walk of life come together to break barriers, embrace their power, and live life on their own terms. I'm your host, Vicki McDougall, and each week we explore inspiring stories, actionable strategies, and empowering conversations to help you step into your confidence, amplify your voice, and create a life without limits. No matter where you are on your journey, this is your space to grow, thrive, and become unstoppable. Welcome back to another episode of The Art of Being Unstoppable. And today is a familiar face to all of you, I'm sure. I have Miss Tina Brigley with me today. Welcome, Tina.
So weird being on the other side like this as a guest and not a co-host. I'm so excited.
I love it. I'm so happy that you're here. And, I wanted to talk a little bit first about, changes. And I mean, life changes very rapidly for all of us. And the end of last year, we decided that we were going to kind of go a little bit different, separate, but you still become a guest on the podcast, tell everybody what you're up to and share some insights and all of that. So this is your first time back, but not your last, of course. And I'm so happy that you're here. I think that, now that I've shifted the podcast a little bit to empowering women and realizing that they are unstoppable. And if we can help women out there realize the power in our choices and the power in what we believe in from inside, we can change the world. And that's what my purpose is. And I'm really happy that I've come aligned with so many people, and you were the catalyst to kind of have me be in this situation and in this seat. And I love it. So thank you. Thank you very much. You know how much I love
I know,
you.
I'm sure.
And so
Exciting to see you so in your element.
I love it. I really do. Um, so let's talk about a little bit about what you've been up to. You've really you've done a shift, and it's pretty amazing what you're doing. And I want you to share a little bit about what you're up to.
Yeah, I started seeing the thread, the silver lining of why I am here, why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I realized wherever I was, whether I was a residential counselor at Hiatus House, or I was a teacher in the school board, or working with high performing coach, it felt like I was always playing by somebody else's rules. And I could see certain situations where I would want to stick up for myself or I wanted to make a change. And there was always somebody there with a playbook saying, no, you can't challenge a social worker. You're just a child and youth worker. You can't challenge the principal. You're just a special education teacher. You can't challenge the system that we're building here. You're just head of client care. But inside of me, I felt like that wasn't my narrative. I'm not a backseat person. I'm kind of like the front seat person, and I want to be in the front seat of my life. And I don't want to play by somebody else's rules. And so I'm starting to see the pattern of, you know, helping people really play by their own rules. And I love working with entrepreneurs because entrepreneurs have made that choice to stop playing by somebody else's rules and play by their own. And what I realized over the years is that people aren't owning their narrative. They're not owning the story that really is the catalyst that has them say enough is enough. And I think they're afraid of drama telling and not storytelling, but that story, I really truly believe, is the heart of what they're doing and why they're doing it. And
Mhm.
I really want people to embrace that true, authentic narrative, take off the mask, the armor, the whatever we decided we had to be, and fully step into our truth, letting go of the old versions of ourselves and really stepping into this new version and having the courage to be able to do that. And it does take courage to let go. So
Absolutely.
that's what I've been
Absolutely.
up to now in different capacities.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch. You've learned so much. I mean, to create your own, not create your own program, because your programs have been very successful and no matter what you've done. But you took what lit you up. It lights you up to help people, and to your stories are what have brought you to where you are. right? Like that's what's brought you here,
Mhm.
your stories and you being vulnerable and you being open and you being honest and you being authentic to who you are and what your purpose is, right? So
Yeah.
this
And
journey that
story
brought you here has been ups and downs and lefts and rights, but you always had it brought you here. It's part of the process.
Yeah, I realized without realizing before, but my story was my strategy. You know, I was looking outside of myself for marketers, other experts, people that could tell me how to get to the next level and outsourcing everything. But what I realized was I didn't have to spend all that money outsourcing because the strategy was my story. The strategy was sharing the moments of my life where I overcame something big. And I know that there are other people that are stuck in that kind of, I like to call it the messy middle of life, you know, when things aren't working well or there's a breakdown in your finances or your relationship, your business. When you overcome that, that is the gold. Other people are like, "How did you do that?" And so I realized that was a strategy, but it's based on authenticity and truth and not
Yeah.
hiding from who I am or what I've gone through, not worrying about if I look good or what are people gonna think. It's my truth. And there is somebody that is stuck right in that same truth of, okay, I'm at a crossroads. I know I'm not supposed to be here and I know I'm not supposed to be doing this, but what do I do? How do I live true to myself? And I know I'm embodying that. So I know that that's going to help people. And I hate to even use the word strategy because it wasn't conscious,
Yeah.
but this is the beauty. The strategy is your truth, is your story and how you can't fake that shit.
No.
You know?
No, you can't.
Yeah.
No, you can't. And a lot of people have a hard time, like I know I did in the beginning of when I first started working on myself. I had a hard time opening up the old, the past, the 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 hard times, the mistakes, so to speak, the things that I wasn't proud of, the shame, the guilt, whatever. And
Mhm.
I have really come to realize that the doing all of those things to fix something that wasn't ever broken was what lit me up. I don't need to fix anything. And I don't but what I get to do is overcome things that have held me back and step into what is meant for me to be and do. And I think you feel
Mhm.
the same in the sense that it's almost like we've taken that backpack of shit off of our back instead of pleasing everyone else and listening to all of the noise, we got to get quiet and hear what is coming from here, what is coming from inside. And once that happens, it all starts to align. And that's what I've seen with you. And that's what I feel for myself. And I want women to realize that it's okay to be in the messy middle, but find someone that is there that has been through similar or that you hear in their story, something that lights you up that go, "Oh, I was there." And then, reach out, find out what they did or listen to what how they got through it because we can support each other through all of the shit.
Mhm. Yeah, you know, it's really interesting because what comes up for me when you're sharing that, I think a lot of times people are afraid of asking for help or they're afraid of investing in themselves. They're afraid of owning their truth because
Mhm.
if they get help, if they ask for help, that means there's a responsibility of stepping into that truest version of ourselves. And that's actually, it's not the money, it's the, okay, but when I am this version, then what? And this is a little bit off topic, but I recently just had a huge breakdown in my kitchen. Okay. Like I had a clogged sink, that was overflowing. My dishwasher overflowed. It leaked into the basement. I had, all of this stuff. And I can fix it. I can do it on my own. And here I am with my little wrench and unscrewing things, causing a bigger problem. Eventually, I had a plumber come in. The plumber fixed it in 5 minutes. But I waited until the pain was so unbearable that I had dishes and pots and pans stacked to the ceiling. Everything was a mess. And I think this is what we do sometimes in life. We wait until it's so out of control and we feel so lost and I have no idea what to do. That 5 minute fix cost me $200. I did not like paying that $200, but you know what I do like? I like having an empty sink without dishes filled to the ceiling without the clutter. I like being able to have peace and freedom of being able to have my kitchen back again. I like the after. And if that cost me $200, you know what? That professional knows more than I do. So, and
Right?
I don't want women to get to that point where they are feeling like they're broken or there's
Mhm.
something that needs to be fixed. There's nothing broken. There's nothing that needs to be fixed, but everything that piles up and compounds is there to help you move towards your purpose. It's there to break you, to rebuild you so that you can own your truth, your authenticity. And that is a superpower. And so I really feel that it doesn't feel good to be in those messy moments, but it feels really great once you get out of the messy moments. But nobody can lead us there. We got to powerfully choose to own our truth. And I didn't want to, admit that I couldn't fix my sink. And I wanted to be the hero in my story. I wasn't. Yeah.
The
So
$200 plumber was, right? Like, come on.
the
But that's the
$200
thing.
bill was the hero.
Yeah, but we get to ask for help, and you're right. It puts us up against the reality if we're asking for help, we're actually taking that step, right?
Yeah.
And
The
it's
thing
scary.
is never the thing. Yeah, there's always a thing under the thing, and the thing under the thing is it's never about money. It's never about the investment. It's the unconscious fear of when I take these problems away, when I feel completely aligned, standing in my truth, what does that mean for me? What would that look like? Who might I lose in this process? How will my life change? And we don't like to be outside of our comfort zones.
Mhm.
We like to be safe. This is
Yep.
predictable. Even when it feels uncomfortable, that we get used to the uncomfortable and that's okay. That's where we operate from. But we don't know sometimes how to operate in our truth. It's scary. And
It
I
is.
know that it's scary. When I quit drinking and I felt like, okay, I what do I say to people when they ask me, "Well, why?" I'm like, "I just wanted to live my best self." "But did you have a problem?" I'm like, "I don't know. Is drinking wine every day after work a problem?" Some people will say, "No, you're just unwinding." For me, it was a problem. I didn't need it, but I wanted it. And that this version of me doesn't fit into other people's worlds sometimes. And that's a little bit scary too. Where do I fit in? Where do I belong? Do I make people feel uncomfortable? And I realize uh, I care if you're uncomfortable being in my presence, but if you are, then you're not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here, you know? And that's a thing I realized too is that when you find your truth, you find your people, like your real
Absolutely.
people that love you no matter
Absolutely.
what.
That's yeah. And that's something that I've been talking about with women on this podcast in the last few weeks is we don't have to agree on everything. We get to have our differences, but we get to respect each other for where we're at. And that was a hard thing for me sometimes when I started, changing my outlook, changing my perception, changing who I chose to be. And then it was like, okay, well, where do these people fit in? If I don't want to do
Ugh.
that anymore, if staying home and being quiet in my own space is what's healthy for me, where do I fit in with all the people that I used to do things with all the time? And, where do I fit in? But I realized that I fit exactly where I'm supposed to fit. And whoever is meant to be here will be
Mhm.
here. And I'm not here to change anybody. I'm not here to make someone understand so that they can live a better life. It's not my job. My job is to spread my truth, just like you said, my truth. And if I can help one person in sharing a story that I have that has been what made me realize who I got to be, then, and if it helps one person, then I've done my job. That's how I feel.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
really do. I feel like that gap in between, whether it's even with you and I, like you're going in a different direction. We've been together working for 3 years. We have been together pretty much
Mhm.
daily for 3 years working together. Just because we're not working together doesn't mean we're not in each other's lives. Just because we're not doing everything together on a daily basis doesn't mean we're not as important to each other either. That's the shift, and that's
Exactly.
the realization for me. And that's where I feel if we can just allow ourselves to follow what our truth is, everything will be okay. Everybody that's supposed to
Mm,
be in your story will be in your story. All the people that you get to help, and they will find you. And I truly believe that.
yes.
I've seen it happen in the last, few months. I've felt my shift and I've seen my following shift. And I've met some pretty incredible people, despite the scare. I was terrified. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I gotta do this by myself. How am I gonna do that? But I'm like, because you do it. Because it's aligned with me completely.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'm writing my book, and I know on another podcast episode, we talked about what the holdback was. And as I'm writing my book and really like owning my truth and seeing all the setbacks and all the things that I've overcome and stuff, not just in my business, but in my life, I'm seeing the truth unfold as I'm writing it. I'm seeing the clarity. I'm seeing that everything had to happen exactly the way that it did in order for me to get right here, right now. And it's been cathartic, and it's been really liberating to actually put words into my experience and how I've been feeling. And also sharing from when I first started writing the book, it was more of a transformational memoir where I was encouraging people to look within. And now the story is not about that. It's about I trust that the reader's gonna look within and see themselves in my sharing, because that's what we do when we share powerful stories.
Yeah.
Other people see themselves. They make their inferences. They see themselves in their life and how it relates. And I think I used to always try and like really not overcomplicate, but over explain myself. And that was
Mhm.
just a breakdown in my trust. And I didn't see that. I didn't trust others to get me. I didn't trust others to see what I was trying to explain. Now I trust people. I trust myself. And I know that people are going to make their own inferences. So when I was procrastinating or hesitating with writing the book, I thought that that's what I labeled it, procrastination. But I see now it wasn't procrastination at all. It was that I wasn't here right now with this interpretation, with this mindset. Now it's super laser clear. So, but I was making myself wrong. Why didn't I do
Mhm.
this? Why aren't I farther along? How come it's taking me so long? And I think we do that in life sometimes too. Why am
Yeah.
I not farther ahead? Why am I still stuck here? Why? It's like just trust that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. And there's no place to get to. And there's nothing to do. And there's no top of the mountain. And there's no e- like there's nothing but right now, but we've been
Yeah.
programmed to believe that we gotta be farther, and we gotta be faster, and we gotta be more, and we gotta be enough, and no, we don't. All we need
No.
to do is be right here, right now in the present. That's it, that's all we have. And so taking off those blinders, that mask, the hustle, the grind, I wake up some days and I'm still in the hustle and grind, but now I notice it. It's not running my life. When I go to check my emails, soon as I put my feet on the floor, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, old programming that the world
Yeah.
is going to stop If Tina doesn't answer her emails right now or respond to that ping or that text message,
Mhm. Yeah,
she's still there. But now she's not running my life anymore. She's not when I feel the, "Oh my gosh, is there enough money in my account? Is there enough this? Is there da da," she still shows up like the world is on fire, but now I just breathe. Like, "No, this is residual. This is old Tina. Old Tina's coming back up just to remind me that she's there, but, you know, I'm not staying there. I'm
yeah,
noticing it now,
yeah,
and I'm releasing it.
yeah,
And when I can't, when I'm stuck, what do? I call my people. I call my coach. I'm like, "Okay, I wanna hit my next level." And my old versions are coming back. My old versions are telling me that I can't and
yeah,
that I'm not enough and that I'm not gonna do it. And I need somebody to hear what I'm saying right now. Let me get out the old crap and then
yeah,
recreate. And that's what coaching does, mentorship does, um, having a committed listener, a good friend that is gonna see you as the new version, not the old, and try and keep you in the stuck
mhm,
version. And
mhm.
that's what I do, that it doesn't go away. It's just we can catch it a lot quicker when we start seeing ourselves, seeing our truth.
Yeah, yeah, and our truth is so important to see. A lot of us don't want
Mhm,
to. A lot of us haven't. We sometimes, don't want to see that truth because the change is scary, because the shift is different. It's not comfortable, it's not familiar. It's different. And
mhm,
change is hard for most of us to go through because you're feeling things that
mhm.
you don't want to feel, you're seeing things that you don't want to see, and you're going through this almost like a roller coaster ride until you realize that this ride is your life and this ride is your journey and this ride is all meant to be exactly the way it's supposed to be. So hang on and really enjoy it. Like I find getting quiet and really asking myself those important questions helps me, and then I can go to my coach, my people, my all of that. But I still need to
Mhm.
be clear on me because trusting myself and not using my voice was what held me back because I didn't trust myself. I didn't use my voice. I didn't want to say something that maybe somebody wouldn't agree with or something because I never, ever, ever have wanted to make anyone feel less than or any I never want to make anybody feel that way. But sometimes if I've come across that way and I don't realize it, then I beat myself up and then I question that. I remember owning my salon and coming home, and my drive home was about 25 minutes every day. And I would replay every conversation in my head from the first client to the last client and ask
Mm,
myself, oh, maybe I should have done that differently. Maybe I was so hard on me because I didn't trust who I
mm,
was. And that trust
mhm.
has just come within the last little while. I trust myself. I trust who I
Yeah,
am. I trust my words are going to fall on someone that's going to need to hear them. And those that don't, that's okay. It's okay.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's so liberating and freeing when we can just own our humanity and see that what you said, like life is a journey, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And the other day, somebody posted something in one of these groups that I had, and we were talking about failure and setbacks and beating ourselves up over the failures. Like, they're not really failures because every situation, person, and circumstance comes on your path to help you elevate. And sometimes those failures, we perceive them as failures because the ego says, see, you failed. But sometimes the soul, our essence, is like, breathe, breathes because it's like, you're not supposed to be here. I'm trying to
Right.
put you on the right path. You see it as a failure, but it's not. That's what we're programmed to believe. And there's like this sigh of, oh, okay, if I can't fail, if I just take actions that don't produce the results that I want, then I get to ask myself, are they really the results that I want? is this really what I want? Or am I being redirected to where I'm actually supposed to be?
Yeah.
And am I willing to trust that guidance? I was telling Vicky yesterday, I had the strangest experience happen. I'm driving back from my daughter's volleyball game, and there's a path that I can take. Right is kind of by a treed, bushy area, and the other one is just a straight highway path. And I love taking the bushy path. But that night, I was like, I don't think I should go down that road because I think that there's going to be a deer that's going to come up. I have a newer car. I'm like, it's going to hit my car. I'm thinking this in my head. Like, I know there's going to be a deer on my path. And I didn't say anything out loud, but I was like, no, Tina, stop being ridiculous. You're going to be fine. I go down, and I was worried about the snow too, but there's no snow on the roads. And not even 1 minute later, driving up this road, what do I see on the side of the road, getting ready to cross the road? A little baby deer. I laughed out loud. I like started putting on my brakes. I'm like, not today, not today. And I looked, it looked right at me, and then it just ran away. And I said to my daughter, oh my gosh, I was just thinking, don't go down here. But it was almost like that whisper of, okay, I heard it. There's going to be a deer on the path. That's okay. I want to see the deer. Trusting and seeing the deer look at me was almost that validation. Ah, now you're listening to yourself. Now you're trusting yourself.
Yeah.
Now you hear. And I don't think I could hear before, even though a lot of things I was hearing the whispers, but I didn't know that they were whispers. I didn't know that they were guidance. Now
Mhm.
I trust. If I'm being called to go there, I don't need to ask why or figure it out. I just trust. And so that deer was I feel like I was being spoken to in that moment. See what happens when you listen? See what happens when you trust?
Yeah.
And now I believe in, the certainty that everything is put on our path to show us something, but are we slowing down long enough to see? Are we slowing down long enough to hear, to listen, to
Mhm.
follow, to be
Yeah.
guided? And now I feel like that's what I'm doing. I'm listening. I'm following the guidance. I sometimes make decisions. Why am I even doing this? What? And I just trust it now. I heard a thought in the shower. That's where this thoughts come from, when I'm
Yeah.
washing
Yeah.
away the mess. Like, I don't know. I'm just doing it. I trust that it's gonna teach me a lesson. It's gonna be a blessing. It's gonna remove a layer. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna do it.
Yeah.
And now I just do it. I just do it. Not because
Yeah.
I have to hustle, but I'm just following whatever feels right
And it
and
isn't
letting
it
go of what doesn't.
that's right. And isn't it just like, I don't know, I just feel this, like you said, like it's like a sigh, it's like a release. It's like a, okay, okay, I get it. I see it. And you can't unsee it. And it's there and I hear it and I feel the I feel the presence of connection now. And I think that I feel that way of being is guiding me to exactly this path for the reasons why I thought about, you know, when I was doing my shop and when I'm doing all of these things, I'm trying to get every now I've realized that if I don't declutter what I already have, all of that will just be another thing to take care of. I have to release and get rid of many things that I've been holding on to for so long. And that includes like my parents' things and, a lot of stuff, a lot of personal just stuff inside and
Mhm.
things that no longer serve me. And that's okay. But we can't just keep piling on top and on top and on top and not realizing that things have to go. Things have to be
Yeah, those
released as well.
yeah, they're open loops, and open loops chain. I look
Mhm.
at my house right now, okay? This is a perfect example. Maybe people can resonate with this. I have a jacuzzi tub that doesn't have the jacuzzi working. Like there's something that's tripped. There's a dehumidifier filter that needs to be fixed because it was leaking. There's something going on with my roof that's creating mold that needs to be done. The pilot lights went out in my fireplaces. all of those little things, and that's just my house. Now it's like, oh, every day when I look at that bathtub, I'm like, geez, I gotta get that fixed. Oh, I look at the ceiling, I'm like, God, I gotta get that fixed. Every time I'm cold and I want to turn the fireplace on. Well, then life starts being like that. These are just
Yeah.
little things, but they're open, open, open. They change. And so when we have more of these open loops in life, in relationships, with our health, with our business, then what happens is we start
Mm.
saying things like, when we get invited to go places or to do things, I don't have capacity. It's not true that we don't have capacity. It's just the chains feel so heavy. It's just another thing on my plate. Well, when you go take care of those things and there's space, in that space, you can create. When there's nothing, you can create everything.
Yeah.
But we don't see the impact of these little open loops in life. And we're not even conscious a lot of times that they are open loops. But anything that we think about, that, that message that somebody sent you and you didn't respond to yet, open loop. That conversation that you want to have that you haven't yet, or something that's incomplete, open loop. It's like, how many open loops are we carrying? How heavy is the chain? And
Yeah.
um, w- what's really important to us? No, like, are we so chained down that we can't actually do what's important to us because we have all these other little things playing in the background? Like, I wanna get these little things out of the way so that I can enjoy my life and feel free and present to experience those things. And, that's another insight that I had lately. It took all these things breaking down in my life to see the ripple in my business, in my
Hmm.
relationships, in
Yep.
my social circles. And it's like, oh, okay. This is
Hmm.
an interesting way to show me this lesson. But
Hmm.
every person, situation, and circumstance is put on our path to show us something else. And that was just one. Okay, where else? Where else do I have open loops? Okay, gotta close some. Right?
It's so true. It's so, so true. And I feel the same way. I feel like, I've really been, since I came back from Florida, really hustling to get my house put back together. And it is, and I enjoyed, like, last Friday, my cleaning lady comes every 2 weeks, and she came and I s someone said, "What are you gonna do tonight?" I said, "Absolutely nothing. I'm going to sit in my chair and look around at my beautiful clean house and realize, oh, it's put back together." And then what do? I take everything out of my laundry room the next morning. I clean it all out. It's all organized. All the stuff that I no longer needed that it's not serving a purpose. It's gone.
Right.
Then I'm
Yeah.
doing my so I have all these things and they said to check, there's only one more thing and that's our closet. And then we're complete. The main floor is completely done. Then we're moving upstairs, and that's where my parents' stuff is. That's where some of my kids' stuff still is. I'm going through all of that. I'm going to clean
Oh,
everything out, and then we're going to paint it. And then my house is complete. My living area is complete. Then I can start working on my parents' things outside, my parents' things in the basement, because that is holding me down. And I know
right.
that. And it hasn't
Yeah.
been easy. I haven't been ready. There's been many things that I've wanted to do. I wanted to do these things for my kids with my parents' clothes. And so they just keep piling, piling, piling. But I have to ask myself, what is this worth to me? Is it worth
Mm.
my well-being? Is it worth me holding on to these things that really, yes, the memories are still here. The memories are here. I don't need the physical things anymore.
Yeah. That's
Not
so
all of them,
beautiful.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
not
No,
all of them.
that's
I mean, some of them, yes, but my parents worked really hard for what they had, and it makes me feel bad to just get rid of it. But in then the same breath, my mom would be saying, "You don't need that. What are you getting that for?" Right? So it's like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I'm good.
Well, and the thing with letting go of the old, even if it's the stuff, it makes room for the new. And even
Yes.
when we start decluttering and getting rid of some of that stuff and it's creating space, but there is a fear in the space when we're creating something new, and
Yeah.
that's why a lot of people that are like hoarders, right? There's a lot of psychological stuff because there's it's almost like they're imprisoned in their stuff. They're
Yeah.
afraid, but when they a lot of times they bring psychologists in and stuff like that because they gotta be okay with now this new environment, create space for the new version of themselves,
Yeah.
and so it's like an extreme example of that, but out with the old, in with the new. And letting go of the old is creating a lot of opportunities for the new. And this circles back to the beginning of our conversation.
Yes.
Letting
Yep.
go is, it's not just physical things, but it's
No.
letting go of the past, letting go of what doesn't serve us. And then, um, yeah, in that space of nothing, you know, is everything, is
Creating with
creation,
compassion.
and
Yeah.
that is an exciting thing, it's also a scary thing, and there's no timeline, if it takes you 10 years to let go of the stuff, me, 10 years, whatever, there is no timeline, there's no have tos in life. We're going to do it exactly when we're supposed to do it, and trust that.
Yeah.
Trust it's on your timeline, nobody else's. You know? So many people will, s I always give challenges when I was doing my 90-day challenge, the first thing was declutter something, and I know that I worked with people that said that they were gonna do this one thing that was really, they were struggling with, and by the end of the 90 days, they just finished doing that one thing. And I remember I used to wanna, like, "How come you didn't follow through? Why didn't you did," I wanted them to get on my map. It's "Do it
Yeah.
now. There's only
Yeah.
power in now." And I
Yeah.
realized because they weren't ready when I was ready for them. Yeah, they had to be
Yeah.
ready. And
Yeah.
but when they do, and that happens, there's no delay, there's no like, "Oh, well, you coulda had this 3 months ago." No, it's you have it now, and now we
Yeah.
create because there's no timeline, and
And I
that's a
love
big
that.
shift for me because
Oh,
everything was now.
I
I
know.
I said something and I'd be like, "When do you want this done by?" And I would say, "Yesterday." That was my thing.
Yeah.
"Yesterday?" Or, "How can we speed this up?" I still listen to podcasts in time and a half. I haven't
Me
I
too.
haven't let that one go yet, but
Me either. Not
'cause
all,
I'm
but
like,
some. Even my messages,
yeah.
I listen to them in time and a half sometimes too. And, I not that I just because I wanna speed it up, just because, okay, like, we take a lot of pauses, we do this, right? So it's just like, "Okay, let's get to the point. Let me hear you."
No, I'm running a workshop for, like, storytelling and crafting a signature talk, and this one woman said, "I would really love to participate," and this was her honest feedback. She said, "I don't operate at the same velocity as you, and I don't wanna disappoint you." I was like, "Girl, that is not disappointing me." She's like, "But I won't be able to keep up with you." And I thought, "You know what? That's fair. That's okay."
Yeah.
Because what I'm creating is very intentional. And if you're not ready for that, honor yourself, honor your no. And that lights my heart on fire. Like, I don't care if you say yes or no, you're honoring who you are. And
Yeah.
she's like, "I love you. I think you're amazing. One day I'm going to work with you, but I know that I'm not ready to take bold." It took me 4 years to decide to do what I'm doing right now. I'm not gonna change that in
Yeah.
5 hours. I'm still gonna operate the way that I operate, and that works for me. Like, then that works for me. That's
That's awesome.
amazing, and thank you for being honest, and thank you
Yeah.
for owning your truth, and thank you for listening to your voice and not mine, and tuning out the noise and honoring your truth. This is why I do what I do. When you can honor your truth, I
Yeah.
respect that so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Tina. I'm so happy we had this conversation. I miss you. I do. I miss you. I miss this. Yes, but we'll have to do it again very soon because I know the workshop is coming up very soon. So is there anything, all your links will be in our show notes, everything that you're up to, all your socials, your website, your links for your your workshops are going to be there. You're up to big things, and I'm very happy that I get to be a part of it as well. And thank you for coming today and taking the time with me and
Um,
letting people just hear your truth and share your story. And you know, we can change the world one woman at a time, and that's what I keep saying. And I truly believe that. I believe that in empowerment and in connection, that we can create a chain that isn't weighing us down, so to speak.
mm.
Create that. that connection with people all over the world, and that's my mission, and that's what we're doing, so thank you for being a part of it.
You're welcome, and I'm so proud with you. You're just such a rock star, and your love for women and empowerment and helping people step into the highest and best version of themselves is extraordinary. And the people that you're having on your podcast are amazing. And I just love you. And I'm so excited to be in your circle.
Thank you. Right back at you.
Mm.
Thank you, everyone, for listening today and being a part of our story, and I'll see you next time. Have a beautiful day,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you for joining me on this episode of The Art of Being Unstoppable. Remember, your story matters, your voice matters, and your power is limitless. If you love today's conversation, subscribe, share it with the women in your life, and leave a review to help more women discover their unstoppable selves. I'm Vicki McDougall, and I'll see you in the next episode, because your journey to unstoppable starts now.